Hey guys, welcome to Project Stage 2. I'm going to give you a brief guide about the overall settling of the Brief 2 building. So firstly, it talks about the composite floor slabs at first, second, and third floor levels, which does not include the ground level. They're supported and simply supported steel beams, and those beams are primary beams. So these primary beams run across the 31.2 dimension at axis 2 to 6, and that generally tells you about this. Okay, this is really so because it tells you about axis 2 to 6. So those things, those places are where the primary beams run across. Alright, and or 31 meters at axis 1 and 7. Lateral space to 7.2, 7.8 grid lines, and so the primary beams are just running from here to here. And just draw it here to here. Similarly, from here to here. Okay, so these are the settings of the primary beams, and then since the primary beams at axis 2 to 6 are supported on 2 external and 3 internal steel beams, steel columns, that means these 2 are external and these 3 are internal. The secondary steel beams span between primary beams, so that means because these are the primary beams labeled marked in blue, so the secondary beams are just those sitting on it. The only exception here is that no secondary steel beams at corner between axis 5 and 7, and that's this special part. As we can see, there are no secondary beams here. We'll talk about these places later. So for the lateral stability is provided by cement. That says nothing. And then is the roof. So the roof is supported on steel beams with span across 71.2 meters dimension space at center to center without internal columns, and that actually tells you that the roof is here. And the span, as we can see, this plus this plus this is 31.2 meters. And the spacing is actually telling you the spacing here. See, these are all 7.8 meters. And there is no internal column, so we're talking about there's nothing here or nothing here. The second point is that it relies on rigid frame action to provide lateral stability. I guess we need to do some calculations on the rigid frame action. So it relies on the roof basins to provide lateral stability for the top floor in the long direction, and that is explained here. I YouTubed it. So the roof bracing is here. As you can see, those things. You can see, for example, this is the frame that we're trying to deal with here. Therefore, this braced frames in 3-dimensional space, we project it to a 2D dimensional space. For example, is from here to here. I hope that I make it clear. And okay, so then those settings are taught. Then we need to design something. So we need to design firstly the continuous slab. We'll talk about that later, and also the design of composite floor slab, and that actually means those things here. This slab which sits on primary beams, and also the design of two waist-spanning slabs between the top of axis 5 and 6, or roof, or of axis 6 and 7. And that actually is the thing that we talked about before. Those things, there are two waist-spanning slabs, as you can tell from the dimension. It's like 1:1 ratio, so it spans two-way. These are secondary beams, right? And it's the design of typical composite secondary beams supporting the composite floor slab, and it's basically this is basically here secondary beam example. Okay. And also the design of typical non-composite steel primary beam. So because the this is the secondary beams, this is the slab, this is the slab, and this two are secondary beams. So the primary beams, for example, is here, which support the two secondary beams. Therefore, we need to calculate the dimension, for example, of the primary beam. And then it's design of typical internal and external steel columns between the ground and first floor. So just focus on it, just ground and first floor. And also the internal and external beams based on their loadings. Then it's the design of rigid beam column connections, and this is very tricky because firstly I thought it was the beam and column connection here, but now it seems to be like for example, this beam we're talking about before is the primary beam, right? So it sits on, for example, two columns here. And we need to calculate the dimension of those two columns. That's my comprehension. And also the design of concrete footing for the internal column. And that means maybe we can go through some design for footings. And also the part frame design. That's the part frame, right? Sorry. That's the part frame design. Okay. Yeah, and that's it. Just note that this class, we can turn it in a practice class or just assign box, and just make sure that we keeping the pace, because they're gonna provide some checks on week 5, week 7, week 9, week 10, and also week 11. So just make sure that everyone of that's be there in time. And that's it. Thanks for your time for watching the video.